Hello, everyone. This marks yet another Thursday of what my kids have been calling negative quarantine. Negative quarantine because we're not really sick, but we do have to quarantine ourselves anyway. So, negative quarantine. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just have to take a deep breath and be like, man, how much longer is this going to go on? I make a few phone calls to a few people and say hello to a few people and keep in touch with a few people. And yeah, I hope you're all doing the same and checking in on each other, and yeah, we get through this together. One thing that is really striking is how many resources we have as Christians to deal with this kind of thing. We have a lot of places where we can draw strength. I was reading in my own devotions from 2 Corinthians chapter 1. This is where Paul, he's writing to the Corinthians, and he says, "We do not want you to be uninformed, brothers, about the hardships we suffered in the province of Asia. We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired even of life. Indeed, in our hearts we felt the sentence of death. But this happened, that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God, who raises the dead." Now, Paul doesn't get into too much detail. You can read perhaps later in 2 Corinthians, he gets into it a little bit more about what exactly the trouble was that he found himself in. But the more important point is what Paul says about that situation. He says, "But this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God." And I think we can apply that, well, I know we can apply that to our situation today, that we would rely not on ourselves, but on God. And so let's take a moment and just remind ourselves of that fact, that we can rely on God even now. He's with us. He hears our prayers. He loves us. And together we can endure, and this too shall pass. I know when you're feeling a little lonely and down and out, the last thing maybe you want to do is talk to somebody, but I really do encourage you. Call somebody in the church. Doesn't necessarily have to be me, but it can be me. If you're having a bit of a down day, we'll talk to you. Maybe we'll even do a drive-by and a wave so we can take care of each other. And let's all take a little bit of time just to remember that we can rely on God in the midst of all of this. He holds us in His hands. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.